I walked into a room where every face wanted me gone. Not ignored, erased. If the people who raised you suddenly looked at you like a threat, what would you do, fight or fold? The door was heavy oak, the kind that makes you feel small before you even touch it. Leather chairs, polished brass, a wall of law books that smelled like old money and new lies. My mother sat perfect in black eyes, cold mouth smiling. My father stared like I'd brought dirt into his cathedral. My brother leaned back like the room already belonged to him. At the far end, the family attorney, Theodore Banks, calm, kind eyes, voice like a steady hand on your shoulder. Miss Parker was specifically requested. He said, which was the first surprise of the day. I took the only empty chair in the middle of the storm, palms damp back straight, trying to make quiet look like power. He started reading. I braced for a locket, a painting, a watch that still smelled like my grandfather's cologne. Instead, to my daughter-in-law, Vanessa, $1. To my son-in-law, Gregory, $1. To my grandson, Bennett, $1. The air went thin. You ever hear silence so loud it buzzes in your teeth? Yeah, that happened. To my granddaughter, Madison Elizabeth Parker, I leave the entirety of my remaining estate. All properties, all investments, all assets, all personal effects, everything, everything. $6 billion of everything. My mother's smile cracked. My father leaned forward like he might lunge. My brother stood so fast his chair slammed the wall. My pulse moved into my throat. It didn't feel like winning. It felt like stepping into traffic. Of course, my mother purred. We'll manage it for her. She's young. This is complex. We'll take care of everything. Sweetheart, just sign. Absolutely not, Theodore said, soft voice, steel core. Your father made it clear Madison is capable. Capable. That word hit me like a warm coat after winter. Maybe because 5 years earlier in that very family, I'd lost my name, my keys, my phone, my place. Flashback, because you need this part to understand. 18 years old, marble foyer suitcase in my hand, mascara on my sleeve. My mother at the top of the stairs in silk, my father in his study doorway, with a glass sweating in his hand, my brother watching like he'd bought front row tickets. You will marry him, my father said. It is good for the family. He was 45. I was 18. Marriage is strategy, my father said. And when I said love, he laughed. Mean short final. I said no. I said it with a shaking voice, but I said it. If it were you, what would you have done? They took the car keys. They took the credit cards. Phone, my father said, palm open. It's on our plan. They called security like I was a problem to be moved. The gate clicked behind me and that sound stayed in my bones. $300 in my pocket from my last birthday, a suitcase, a sidewalk, a sky that didn't care. I used a gas station landline. Yes, the kind that still eats quarters, to call my best friend. She showed up in a dented Honda, hugged me so hard I fell apart. Took me home to her lumpy couch and dollar store coffee. For months I worked 3 jobs. Diner at dawn, bookstore at noon, office, cleaning at night, and squeezed community college into the leftover hours. I ate ramen and peanut butter, learned bus routes by heart, failed a math test, studied until my eyes throbbed, passed the next one by a single point. You know what I mean when survival turns into a schedule, and the schedule is the only ladder you have. Then one night, a sleek car idled outside my building. The window slid down, and there he was. My grandfather, the only person in that bloodline who ever looked at me and saw a person, not a piece on their chessboard. Can we talk? He asked, voice tired kind. We drove to a diner where pancakes come bigger than your willpower. He tried to hand me cash. I pushed it back. I have to do this on my own, I said. His eyes got shiny around the edges. Then let me have pancakes with you, he said. Every few weeks, let me know you're okay. So we did. Once a month, different diner, different corner of the city, same order, same warmth. He asked about classes, shifts, sleep, the small wins I'd never had time to celebrate. He never pushed money on me again. Quiet love is still love. Sometimes it's the only kind that lasts. Then he died. Private care facility. Press release. My name not mentioned, my number blocked, my grief treated like a trespass. The funeral was rain and umbrellas and private event until Theodore appeared out of nowhere and said, "Let her through." I stood in the backwater running down my wrists while strangers praised an empire, and my father promised the legacy would remain in the family. I put my palm on the casket wood, cool under my hand, and whispered, "Thank you. I'll make you proud." My mother saw me and hissed, "Get her out." Theodore didn't flinch. "Touch her, and I'll have you removed," he said, then turned to me and murmured, "Tuesday." Tuesday was the will reading. Tuesday was the earthquake. Tuesday was the first domino. Back in the Oak office, my parents pivoted fast. Smile, threat, smile. "You can't possibly handle this," my mother said. Voice, sugar eyes, blade. "Just sign power of attorney. We'll protect you." "Madison is 23, Theodore said, "and capable. Also, your father included a clause. If she gives either of you a single penny beyond the dollar he left, the entire estate transfers to charity." Pattern interrupt. "Read that again." "If I tried to buy peace, I lost everything. Do you think that's fair?" I went back to my life. Black apron, coffee refills, aching feet, and watched my name get turned into a chew toy by people who never met me. Estranged granddaughter manipulates dying billionaire headlines screamed. Paparazzi aimed lenses at my hands like they could capture guilt there. Rosie, my boss, small and fierce, stepped between me and a camera crew and said, "She's at work, you need to leave." The crew left. The whisper campaign stayed. Then the lawsuit hit. Undue influence, incompetent testator, temporary restraining order on the entire estate, the company included, which meant I technically owned $6 billion and couldn't touch a dime, couldn't approve a single decision, couldn't move, breathe, sneeze without a judge's stamp. My new lawyer, Patricia Adams, scanned the papers and smiled like a cat that hears a can opener. "Good," she said. "If you can't touch it, they can't accuse you of mismanaging it. We play the long game." At night, the blocked calls started. "Give us what we deserve," voices said, as if deserve had ever applied to me in that house. Bennett showed up outside my building with the particular shame of people who only visit the poor at noon. "Just share," he said. "Give them 100 million each, they'll stop, and you'll still be rich." "I can't," I said, "and I won't." He stared at my peeling paint. "You'll lose," he whispered. "When you do, you'll be back here working 2 shifts. I'd rather have nothing and keep my name," I said. Then I closed the door, hands shaking, heartbeat, hammering like a warning on a rail. Now the twist, the flip, the moment the story turns. Stick around, because what happened next will blow your mind. Theodore called late. "We got it," he said. "The box." "What box?" "The safety deposit box your grandfather added you to 6 months before he died." In a quiet room under a bank that looked like it had never known a messy day, the manager set a metal box on a table. Inside order. Folders labeled like a general's plan. Medical evaluations from 3 separate doctors, recent signed, all stating my grandfather was of sound mind. Financial records. Small money orders over years, dinner receipts, meticulous notes. A list of purchases from my jewelry shop under names I didn't recognize, all his. Surveillance transcripts gathered by a private investigator. My parents discussing power of attorney, the incompetency claim strategy sessions to isolate him. Emails where my mother threatened to cut Bennett off unless he testified against me. And a USB drive with 2 videos. We watched the first. My grandfather in his home office, hair thinner, eyes bright, talking straight to me. Why he did it. What he believed. That I'd earned nothing but trust. And that trust was everything. I had to pause twice just to breathe. Then the second. A hospital room 1 week before he died. A doctor ran cognitive tests, questions, memory, math, time, place, current events. He answered everything sharp, steady, exact. Then he looked into the camera. I am leaving everything to Madison because she is the only one who loved me without asking for something. Do not let them bully her. We didn't sleep. We didn't need to. We had truth signed, dated, filmed. Court felt like a slow fire. My parents' lawyer painted me as a spider, my grandfather as a trapped fly. Pain meds, he said, isolation, vulnerability. He called people who hadn't spoken to my grandfather in years to describe his decline. He tried to make poverty and ambition into proof of manipulation. Patricia stood up, no raised voice, just facts. Did you observe cognitive decline? She asked the family doctor. No. Confusion? No. Visitor logs went on a screen. 2 visits from my brother, 3 from my parents, none from me, because I was on a banned list. Black letters, white page, my life documented by a clipboard. Bennett took the stand, said what he had to say, then Patricia slid emails across the rail. Did your mother instruct you not to visit, so she could claim your grandfather was isolated? She asked. He swallowed. Yes. The room inhaled, stayed there. My turn. Their lawyer tried to reduce me to a headline. You worked low-wage jobs, he said, and then you inherited $6 billion. Convenient. I would trade every penny to have him back, I said, not because it made me look good, because it was true. How often did you meet with him in his final months? I was banned, I said, and Patricia held up the banned list like a mirror. Then the videos. My grandfather speaking to me. My grandfather proving he knew exactly what he was doing. The judge watched without blinking. When the screen went black, she looked at my parents the way you look at a stain that won't come out. I've heard enough, she said. The will stands as written. Attorney's fees to the defendant. Gavel, shock. Outside microphones. Inside a breath I'd been holding since the gate clicked shut 5 years earlier. 2 weeks later, thunder on a sunny day. The IRS is investigating your parents, Theodore said. Your grandfather filed reports. He kept records. Fraud. Tax evasion. Shell games with real victims. Their mansion turned into a scene from a cautionary tale. I didn't celebrate. Anger had burned off months ago. What stayed was a strange, sad quiet, the kind that comes when a storm finally runs out of rain. Bennett asked to meet. He looked smaller in a simple shirt than he ever did in $1,000 suits. He slid an envelope across the table. A letter he said he wrote the night they threw me out, the one our mother found and tore up. He apologized for laughing, for standing still, for choosing comfort over courage. He didn't ask for money. He asked if someday we could be siblings again. Maybe I said not yet, maybe. Keep doing the work. Therapy. Honesty. Time. He nodded like a person hearing directions out of a forest. When the freeze lifted, I didn't buy a yacht. I bought time for people who never get offered any. I met with the leadership team at my grandfather's company, listened more than I talked, asked dumb questions out loud, promoted the quiet geniuses, ended the reign of the yes men. Then I started building the thing my grandfather had been building inside me the whole time. A different kind of legacy. The Lawrence Montgomery Center for Opportunity opened in a neighborhood where hope is often on layaway. Free coding classes, job training with childcare, mentorship, stipends so people could learn without starving. A girl named Destiny wrote her first program and showed me with both hands, eyes wide. "This might change my life," she whispered. I gave her my card. "Call me if you get stuck," I said. "On code or on anything." On Saturdays, I volunteer with a teacher named Jordan, who makes kids laugh and learn at the same time. He asked me to dinner after class. We talk about books and bus routes and why mandarins are better than cookies at a snack table. He never once made a joke about money. There is a kind of love that doesn't need a receipt. A year after the verdict, I took pancakes to my grandfather's grave. I sat on the grass, told him about the center, the scholarships, the startup for accessible tech. We invested in that got acquired and turned 20 million into 200. Money I redirected, without blinking, into more programs, more seats, more chances. I laid a pancake by the flowers because rituals matter. "I hope I'm making you proud," I said. The wind made the leaves clap. It sounded like yes. Now the part that will start 100 comment threads. Does anyone deserve $6 billion? I didn't earn the money. I earned the right to decide what it does. There's a difference. My parents believed money proves worth. My grandfather believed money reveals it. Which belief makes a better world? Which one makes a better you? If you could sign a paper and keep a fortune, but giving a single penny to the people who hurt you would send it all to charity, what would you do? If it were you, what would you have done? I don't have a sermon. I have a choice I keep making. Steward, not hoard. Build, not burn. Protect the kids standing outside a gate with a suitcase and $300. Show them the gate isn't the end. It's the first mile marker on a road that belongs to them. Thank you for listening all the way through, not like a headline, but like a human. Do you think the clause was fair? Do you think the court got it right? Should inheritance this big even exist? Or should every fortune pass through the hands of the people who need it most? Tell me what you would have done in that chair across from the family who called you disposable. Fight, share, walk away. Drop your take in the comments, disagree with me, challenge me, tell me where I'm blind. And if this story reminded you of something you survived, write it down because someone scrolling at 2 a.m. might need your map. If you want more real stories told the way they actually feel like and share this, tell me where you're watching from and I'll see you in the comments. One pancake at a time.